The Malays aren't going to buy your stuff. They don't have any money.
They don't have any money. Those folks have no money at all. So why do you, uncle, need to mock other countries like Malaysia, Vietnam and Cambodia when, as you say, they have no money? Malaysia has cheap petrol, affordable healthcare, and the second tallest building in the world. But let me tell you something. Malaysia has much more than money. Respect, morality, and culture. Not the crazy woke culture, but real culture. And maybe that is why Malaysia doesn't need to disrespect other countries.
Bill O'Reilly. You mocked Malaysia? In this world, wealth is often measured in dollars. And when someone proudly says, "We have money," we tend to believe them. But what if the cracks are too big to ignore? What if the streets tell a different story of decay, neglect, and a nation choosing bullets over bread? Today, let's take a walk. Not through the slums of a poor country, but through the forgotten alleys of the richest one. Okay, Bill O'Reilly. Let's ask the question no one dares to ask out loud. If you really have money, then where did it go? You said you have money. But, wait a minute. Are you sure you have money? Because when we look at the reality on the ground in the United States, well, let's just say, it doesn't look like it. If you have money, why can't you build better infrastructure? Build railways, highways, or even just clean streets? Why do people still sleep on sidewalks in your cities? Why do people still struggle with basic living expenses? The world measures wealth in dollars. And when someone boldly says, "We have money," the world nods along. But here's a question. If you really have money, why are your streets on fire? Why are millions of Americans protesting, rioting, shouting, not for revolution, but just for rent control, fair wages, and affordable food? And while the world builds bridges, you raised tariffs, walked away from deals, and started trade wars, promising it would help your people. But your people are still angry. And hungry. If you truly have money, why does it look like your nation's soul is bankrupt? So again, Bill, where is your money? Because if a country with no money can take better care of its people, then maybe you should learn a thing or two from. You claim to be the richest country. But your public transportation? Outdated, dirty, smells like a history museum that forgot to clean up after itself. Meanwhile, in Malaysia, a so-called developing country, we've got modern LRT, MRT, even driverless trains. Clean, efficient, running on time. In America's major cities, trash scattered, rats partying on the sidewalks, a distinct aroma of urban neglect. But sure, you have money, right? Let's talk healthcare. In the US, break your leg and you break your bank. In Malaysia, walk into a government hospital, you'll be treated respectfully, affordably, sometimes even for free. Even many expats now prefer Malaysia's healthcare. Gas, rent, food, electricity, all up. CNN reports US inflation at 3.4% early this year. Meanwhile, Americans are holding protest signs saying, "We work 2 jobs, still can't eat." Over 650,000 Americans are homeless as of latest HUD data. If you really have money, why are your people sleeping on the streets? Because instead of upgrading your schools or transit, you're spending $113 billion for Ukraine, $38 billion more for Israel, $886 billion defense budget in 2024. But how about your own people?